Hello, my name is Georgia Frutinik, and welcome to this nutshell video series on starting elementary school. This is the third video in the series, and it's going to be about practicing managing emotions. And this is really not an issue just for starting elementary school. It's an issue that really you'll be working on throughout elementary school, probably in middle school too. But I wanted to give you some information to start working on and to help you dig a little deeper. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to look at how you handle emotions first, because as the parents, we are the role models for our children, and they are looking at the way we behave, the way we treat people, how we handle frustration. They're looking at the way we act and doing really more of that than listening to what we say. So it's really important. If you don't know how to handle your emotions, then I would start there, and you can learn along with your child. And it's okay. We've all got progress to make, and so identifying that as something that you want to work on is important. I think being a parent has made me a better person, because after I had these kids, I felt tremendous amount of pressure, and I really made an intentional decision about who I wanted them to be. And then I realized that I didn't really measure up to who I wanted them to be. And so I became, or I try to become, the person that I want my children to be when they grow up, when they're an adult. And some days I do well, and some days not so much. And I think that's kind of how it goes. So the first step is just awareness around emotion. Teaching your children the vocabulary on naming their emotions when they're feeling them can really help them just have more language around this, because I think a lot of times challenging behavior happens when kids get frustrated and they don't have the language to explain why they're so frustrated. And so when you see your child really frustrated, you can name that for them. God, you look really frustrated. Are you frustrated? And he may correct you and say, no, I'm not. I'm angry. It's like, okay, because there's really no right or wrong for emotions. There's no bad emotions. We all feel all of these emotions. Okay. It's what you do after you feel the emotions that can get you in trouble. So it's okay to feel angry, but it's not okay to hit someone. Right. Okay. So just increasing their language around emotions, recognizing emotions when we have them, and naming them. And then, if you did only that before they started school, they would be it would help set them up to be successful. But I'm hoping that you want to dig a little deeper because you're watching the video. So the next step would really be to talk about situations that trigger certain emotions. And you could have fun with this, kind of treat it like a game. So tell me about a time when you felt angry. And your child might say, well, I felt angry when dad made me go to bed early because I had school the next day. Okay. Or I felt angry when I didn't get to go first on the slide. You could even challenge them a little bit. Did you feel angry, or do you think that was maybe disappointment? And they'll correct you, and then and that'll give you an opportunity to kind of teach that, and you're teaching it at a time that they're calm and that they're able to learn it. So that's when things aren't super intense, because that's the best time to teach that, because their brains are ready to hear it. But they will have times when they have really big emotions. And what we want to do is teach them how to handle those big emotions in the moment, and we want to teach it when they're not in the moment, right? And don't be surprised if your child can tell you the appropriate behavior for certain things. When I feel angry, I can take deep breaths. I can run cold water on my hands. They know all the things that they can do, but then in the moment, they don't do it. And the reason for that is that they know what they're supposed to do, but they're having trouble regulating their emotions. And so that's what they need to learn. They don't need to learn that you don't hit people, because they probably know that already. And so when they're managing these big emotions, there's lots of things that they can do. And I think the first one is just to be aware of it. And so name the emotion, feel the emotion before you do anything. Don't act, just feel it. And then You could teach them to take deep breaths. There's lots of YouTube videos that can teach you a breathing exercise called 4-3-7, where you breathe in for 4 counts, you hold it for 3, and then you breathe out for 7. And this is slow, rhythmic breathing. This is not real fast breathing. If they breathe real fast, they might hyperventilate, and then that's going to make them even make their behavior even worse. So slow, deep breaths. They can go for a walk. They can do push-ups, they can do jumping jacks, they can run cold water and pay attention to the way that feels. There's lots of things they can do instead of hitting someone or doing something that'll get them in trouble at school. And so I think it's important to try to teach these things to them, because they're going to have big emotions. There is no doubt. We all have them for sure. And I think sometimes we handle them better than others. I find that when I'm not well rested, I don't handle my emotions quite as well as when I'm getting a good night's sleep. So, okay, so parenting tips. Be calm. I know it's easier said than done, but when our kids are really upset, they're looking to us to help regulate their emotions and to help them calm down. So if they're really upset and acting in a way that's not appropriate, and then we get really upset and start screaming at them to calm down, it's not going to help them calm down, because an unregulated adult can't help regulate a child. We have to be the adults, and we have to be the ones that are regulating our emotions. And so do some work yourself on being able to stay calm in situations. Be aware of your own emotions, because that's going to be important. There's going to be some things that drive you crazy. You need to know what those things are, and so you can be ready for them. I always think it's a good idea to breathe. And sometimes I don't even respond. If I feel like I'm going to say something ugly and I'm going to regret it, then I might just breathe and walk away. Or I might breathe and say, we can talk about this later, because I'm not ready to talk about this right now. I think it's important not to take their behavior personally. I know it's hard because it does affect you. But when we take their behavior personally, then we make it about us, and we lose focus of helping them and teaching them. So if you find yourself saying, he's not going to treat me that way, then you're probably taking it personally. So so I encourage you to kind of be aware of that also, and try to shift that gear to focus back on your child, and apologize when you make mistakes, and you will make mistakes. I know I've certainly made a lot of mistakes, and I think when we go to our children with a sincere, authentic apology, I didn't handle that very well, and I apologize. Then they see us as humans. It creates space for a relationship that I think can be helpful. And then they'll come to us when they make mistakes. And also, you may make mistakes not just with your child, but maybe with your family. Maybe you're joking around with your sister, and you say to your sister, I'm going to kill you. And you say that in front of your child. And then maybe you go to him later and say, I apologize, because I really shouldn't use language like I'm going to kill you. I should say something else. We were just joking around. But see, the thing is, when your child hears you joking around and saying, I'm going to kill you, he might go to school and say, I'm going to kill you to someone, and that's going to get him in the principal's office. So we want to be real careful about our own language and the way we're interacting with other adults in front of our children, because they are listening, and they're repeating a lot of what we say. So I encourage you to see all behavior as communication. So when the behavior is challenging, ask, what are they trying to communicate to me here? Why are they struggling? Why are they having a hard time? And you notice I said, why are they struggling? I didn't say, why is he being bad? Because I don't think kids are bad. I think if their behavior is not appropriate or it's challenging, there's something behind it. And we as adults are responsible to kind of be investigators and try to figure out what that is, so we can help them and teach them, give them the tools they need to be successful. One tool that I use that I find helpful is called ACE, ACE, acknowledge, compassion, and explore. I'll give you an example. So if my child says, "Mommy, I hate you." Whew, that's hard not to take that one personally, right? Because hate is a strong word, and it could be the strongest word that he knows, and he's feeling some really big emotions. But I try to think about what's probably really going on with him and what he probably really means, because he doesn't mean that he hates me. And so I may say, "Wow, it sounds like you're having some big feelings about this math test. And it sounds like you might be angry or maybe scared. I'm not sure." So acknowledging that they're having feelings about it, having compassion. Yeah, I feel scared sometimes when I'm going to have a test and I'm not sure how I'm going to do, and I'm maybe afraid I'm not going to do well on it, and so that's the compassion piece. It's connecting, saying, yeah, I get it, I have some big emotions too. So let's explore some ways that we could deal with that fear without saying, "I hate you, Mommy." What are other things that we could do? Maybe say, "Mommy, I'm scared about my math test." So exploring options is what the E stands for. And I hope that's helpful to you. If you want more information, I know this has been a lot of information in a short period of time. Take a look at my other Nutshell videos, look at the district website. I've created this parenting playground that'll have a lot of links on it for you to navigate and to learn from. And then don't forget about your elementary school's website. Thank you. Have a good day.